Imagine a barefoot boy kicking a sock stuffed with rags through the dusty streets of a Brazilian slum, completely unaware that his every touch is forging the destiny of a global religion. He did not just play football, he elevated it to an art form, a spiritual experience, and a universal language that transcended borders, languages, and wars. This is the extraordinary reality of a man who became a global icon before he could legally drive, winning 3 World Cups and scoring over 1,000 goals while carrying the hopes of an entire nation on his slender shoulders. His journey from the impoverished outskirts of São Paulo to the absolute zenith of sporting immortality is a masterclass in natural genius, relentless dedication, and the profound power of joy. To understand his legacy is to understand the very soul of football, a landscape forever altered by a boy who simply refused to let the ball touch the ground. The genesis of this unparalleled sporting phenomenon began in the autumn of 1940 in the humble town of Tis Coras, Minas Gerais, before his family relocated to the city of Bauru in São Paulo. Born Edson Arantes do Nascimento, his early environment was defined by crushing poverty and the deep, abiding love of a family that found solace in the rhythm of the sport. His father, a former footballer whose promising career was tragically cut short by a severe knee injury, and his mother, who struggled tirelessly to keep the household afloat, instilled in him a profound respect for the game despite their dire financial circumstances. He earned the nickname Pelé during his primary school days, a childhood mispronunciation of a local player's name that he initially despised, but would eventually become the most recognized moniker in the history of sports. Lacking the funds for a genuine leather ball, he honed his extraordinary ball control by kicking a grapefruit, or a sock tightly packed with newspaper and rags. This makeshift, unforgiving training ground developed his uncanny spatial awareness, lightning-fast reflexes, and a delicate, almost magnetic touch that would later baffle the world's greatest defenders. His raw, unpolished talent could not remain hidden in the local streets for long. At the tender age of 15, he was invited to try out for Santos Futebol Clube, one of the most prestigious and historically significant teams in Brazil. The trial was little more than a formality. Within minutes, the seasoned professionals recognized they were witnessing a generational anomaly. He made his professional debut in 1956, and by the following year, he was the top scorer in the National League, a feat no teenager had ever accomplished in the history of the competition. His playing style was a breathtaking synthesis of explosive speed, two-footed precision, and an almost telepathic vision of the pitch. He did not just score goals, he crafted them with a theatrical flair that captivated audiences globally. The acrobatic bicycle kicks, the audacious no-look passes, and the impossible, weaving dribbles became his signature, transforming the rigid, highly tactical game of the era into a vibrant, improvisational dance. Santos quickly became a global powerhouse under his leadership, embarking on lucrative world tours that introduced his magical brand of football to Europe, Africa, and Asia, effectively making him the world's first truly global sports superstar. The defining moment of his early career arrived at the 1958 FIFA World Cup in Sweden. At just 17 years old, he was included in the Brazilian national squad, a highly controversial decision that sparked intense debate among coaches and pundits who feared he was too young and emotionally fragile for the immense pressure of the world stage. He silenced all doubters in the semi-final against France, scoring a breathtaking hat-trick that announced his arrival on the global stage with undeniable authority. In the final against the host nation, he delivered a performance of such sublime perfection that it is still studied today as a masterclass in attacking football. He scored 2 of the most iconic goals in tournament history, including a legendary volley where he flicked the ball over a defender's head before striking it out of the air, and a powerful, composed finish after a brilliant individual run. Brazil won the tournament, and a new king was crowned, forever changing the trajectory of the sport and cementing his status as a national hero. However, the path to immortality was fraught with brutal physical and emotional challenges. The 1962 World Cup in Chile began with immense promise, but a severe muscle injury in the second match sidelined him for the remainder of the tournament. Despite his agonizing absence, Brazil managed to defend their title, but he was left with a profound sense of unfulfilled duty and personal frustration. The 1966 World Cup in England proved to be his darkest hour on the international stage. The tournament was marred by excessively violent, unprotected tackling, and he became the primary target for opposing defenders who viewed stopping him as their sole objective. Brutally fouled in consecutive matches by defenders who faced no disciplinary consequences, he was forced to leave the pitch injured, and Brazil suffered a humiliating early exit. The trauma of those tournaments led him to briefly declare that he would never play in another World Cup, a testament to the immense physical toll and psychological burden he carried as the focal point of a nation's obsession. Yet, the pull of the green and yellow jersey was too strong to resist. By the 1970 World Cup in Mexico, he had matured into a seasoned, tactical genius who understood that football was as much a mental game as a physical one. This tournament was not just about winning, it was about redemption and showcasing the absolute pinnacle of team football to a global television audience. Operating as the central playmaker and focal point of what is widely considered the greatest national team ever assembled, he orchestrated the attack with breathtaking elegance and authority. He scored crucial goals, provided visionary assists, and controlled the tempo of every match with an almost supernatural calmness. The final against Italy was a masterpiece of collective brilliance, culminating in his legendary, gravity-defying header that secured Brazil's third World Cup title and permanent possession of the Jules Rimet Trophy. At the final whistle, he was hoisted onto the shoulders of his teammates, weeping tears of absolute triumph, having conquered the world for the third and final time. Following his monumental international success, his domestic career with Santos continued to yield incredible records, but the twilight of his playing days inevitably approached. In a move that shocked the traditional footballing world, he signed with the New York Cosmos in the North American Soccer League in 1975. The decision was not driven by a desire for one last lucrative paycheck, but by a genuine, deeply held mission to popularize soccer in the United States, a country utterly dominated by other major sports. His arrival was an immediate cultural phenomenon. He instantly transformed the Cosmos into a glamorous, must-see attraction, drawing massive crowds, celebrity fans, and unprecedented media attention to the sport. He played with the same joy and showmanship, proving that his magic was not confined to the grass pitches of South America or Europe. He successfully laid the foundational groundwork for the explosive growth of soccer in North America, a legacy that continues to flourish and expand today. His official retirement in 1977 was a global event, marked by an emotional, highly publicized exhibition match between Santos and the New York Cosmos. He played a half for each team, receiving standing ovations from a stadium packed with adoring fans, international dignitaries, and fellow sporting legends. Stepping away from the pitch did not diminish his influence, it merely expanded it into new realms. He transitioned seamlessly into the role of a global ambassador for the sport, working tirelessly with organizations like FIFA and the United Nations to promote peace, youth development, and the universal values of football. He was named an honorary citizen of the world and served as Brazil's extraordinary minister for sport, using his immense political capital to advocate for anti-corruption measures and the development of grassroots sports infrastructure in his home country. The debate over his exact goal tally remains a passionate topic among football historians, with his official count standing at over 750, while his personal and club records claim over 1,200 goals, including friendly and exhibition matches. Regardless of the precise number, the sheer volume and aesthetic beauty of his scoring record are entirely unparalleled in the history of the sport. He possessed a complete, devastating arsenal. Thunderous power with both feet, unparalleled aerial ability, and a clinical, icy composure in one-on-one situations. More importantly, he played with a radiant, infectious smile, embodying the concept of Joga Bonito, the beautiful game, in its purest, most authentic form. He brought joy to billions, offering a temporary escape from political turmoil and economic hardship through the sheer, unadulterated magic of his feet. In his later years, he faced significant health challenges, including severe mobility issues that eventually confined him to a wheelchair, yet his spirit remained entirely unbroken. He continued to make public appearances, offering wisdom, unwavering support, and his unmistakable, warm smile to a world that revered him as a living deity of the sport. His passing in the winter of 2022 triggered an outpouring of global grief that transcended the traditional boundaries of sports. Nations declared official days of mourning, and millions took to the streets to celebrate the life of the man who gave them so much happiness and pride. The legacy of this extraordinary icon is permanently etched into the cultural DNA of the planet. He was not merely a footballer, he was a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of hope, and the ultimate standard by which all future generations of players are measured. From the dusty, impoverished streets of Bauru to the glittering, packed stadiums of the world, his journey is a profound testament to the transformative power of natural talent, relentless hard work, and an unyielding love for the game. He did not just play football, he perfected it, leaving behind a legacy of brilliance, joy, and global unity that will echo through the corridors of sporting history for all of eternity.